As a motocross racer, one of the main things that I struggled with for so long, many years, was I would show up at the race and I would constantly be competing with the same group of guys every single time, regardless of how much work and training I would put in leading up to it. And I'm going to talk about how to fix that and actually level up and reach that next level. That's what I'm going to talk about in this video. If you don't know me, I'm Logan Lesser, a national motocross racer, having won over 15 state championships and an amateur national championship. I'm an extreme sports athlete and ran a marketing agency for over 4 years, growing it to $30,000 a month. And while doing so, was able to travel the world living in Cape Town, South Africa, part-time throughout the past few years. And I've spent nearly $50,000 on mentors, coaches, courses, and education, learning from the best of the best in business, fitness, mindset, racing, and so on. Now I'm sharing what I've learned and growing my community, the Champion Protocol, linked in the description below. All right, I've talked about it in many of my other videos, but the only way to beat the best and beat everybody else and to actually improve faster than everybody else is to do more than everybody else. Like, the main analogy that I use is, say that there's two race cars racing one another. Now, one car is, say, 500 feet behind the one in front. Now, if they're both going the exact same speed, the car behind is never going to catch the one in front. They're literally going to stay in that same position for the entire race. But if that car behind is even going 1 mile per hour faster than the car in front, then it's eventually going to catch the car in front. Now, if it's going 5 miles per hour faster, it's going to catch the one in front even faster, and then so on. So the only way to actually catch those that are ahead of you and pass them is to do more than them. Like, that's something that I struggled to understand for so long, is like, I kept seeing these guys in these racers who would be like battling in the top 5 or whatever, and I'd be battling in the top 15, maybe top 10, say at like Loretta Lynn's or Minios or whatever, and I would be training at training facilities, living there full time and doing and putting in the work and putting in the training, and I'd be like, what the heck, like, why am I still in the same spot? Like, why am I not catching up to them? Like, why are they, like, why is this gap still the same? Like, if this was them and this is me, this gap still was the same. Like, I wasn't catching them at all. And I was so ignorant to the fact that they were putting in the work too. Like, everybody is putting in the work. Everybody's either living in a training facility or just training full time in their own way and at their own like facility or bouncing around the country at different tracks or whatever. Like, everybody at the end of the day is putting in the work. Everybody's doing about the same thing. Like, if you live at a training facility, I hate to break it to you, but I've been to like numerous facilities across the country. I've been to his 956 facility, Moto X Compound, Moto Sandbox, Rainer Training Complex, Quick's Moto Ranch, those ones just off the top of my head, but like, I've been to a lot of them. And listen, the actual structure and the program is roughly the same. Like, it's not that different when you go to different facilities. So if everybody's doing roughly the same amount of training, then how could you possibly expect to do the same as everybody else, yet get 5 times better than them or get better faster than them? Like, it doesn't logically make sense. And I didn't understand that for so long. So really, the only option to beat everybody else and to improve faster is to do more than them, like, period, or get more out of what you're doing, which getting more out of what you're doing really comes down to the mentality and the mindset that you have when you're actually training and doing everything, which I talk more about that in other videos, so I'm not going to get into that with this. The main topic of this video is how to do more than everybody else. And what I started doing is at Quick's Motor Ranch, like, that's where the trainer at the time, I can't remember, it was either Matt Cleveland or Kyle Regal who said it. And when they said it, that's when it really clicked in my head. And that's when I really actually grasped this concept. And it was like one of those light bulb moments when I was like, no shit. Like, it was the most obvious concept in the world, but I seriously just never thought about it. And what he basically said was exactly what I just did. If you're doing the same amount of work as everybody else, how can you possibly expect to get a different result or improve faster than them? Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So that's when I really realized, and I was like, no shit, I need to do more than everybody else. So aside from doing more, like, okay, I'm going to do like one extra workout, or I'm going to go do 20 minutes extra of cardio each day, or I'm going to go do one more session on the track every day, or like those types of things. Like really think about it and figure out if that's something you can do. Now, I do understand if, say, you're at a training facility, or if you really are putting in like a ton of work and everything, and really there's not much more that you should do, because there is something to be said about like overworking, and you need rest and you need recovery. Like there's a certain point where if you do more, it's actually going to probably hurt you more than it's going to benefit you. So there is something to be said about that. However, when I say do more than everybody else, I'm not only talking about on the bike, in the gym, all that stuff. Like that's something that I used to only really view it as well, is like that's the only way I could get better. But what I ended up talking to my little brother Colby about, and this was a while ago, and I really think it's helped him because he's really implemented this, and now he's on a freaking team and everything, and he's absolutely killing it. He won Loretta's last year. Like he's doing really, really well. Is I was like, dude, this is like, you should treat this as your freaking job. Like this isn't just fun and games. This isn't just like a sport anymore. This isn't just a hobby. Like if you really want to do this and you really want to take it all the way, you need to treat it as your job, and as like you need to do the most that you possibly can. And like, this is work, period. And basically what I told him is that aside from like riding on the track and training on the track and training in the gym and all that stuff, like there is a lot you can do off the bike and out of the gym. Like literally the amount of freaking resources that are out there online nowadays is insane. Like there's a lot of like training stuff now online with motocross, and I've got my own community and stuff, which you can check it out in the link in the description below, because that's exactly what it's for, is what I'm talking about right now, is doing that bit extra so that you can get even more and improve faster by doing more than everybody else. So definitely check out the community, links in the description. It's free. But like there's stuff like that everywhere, and there's also YouTube. Like freaking Jet Lawrence, Chase Sexton, a lot of them are now doing vlogs, and I've watched some of them and they're really good. But what's really good about them is it actually shows them riding, and like it's really high quality footage. Like it's close up, like 4K footage of them riding that you wouldn't see on TV. So like I've been watching it, and like I've literally been watching it in slow-mo and like recording some of it on and putting it on my phone, so that at the track I can watch it and really analyze like their form and what they're doing, and then I could go out and try and practice it on the track. So like that's the type of stuff that you can do. Like there's endless stuff like that where you can go on YouTube and just go online and watch and literally analyze it. Take out a freaking notepad and pen, and while you're watching the race on TV, like the actual like pro nationals and stuff, like take notes of things that you're noticing that they're doing. Like if you notice something interesting, or some interesting line or angle that they used, or some like unique way that they made a pass, or literally anything that sparks in your head that you're like, that was interesting, like I could learn from that, write the damn thing down. Like we all went through school and stuff, and we were told to take notes and all this, and we just learned to hate it and that it's useless and everything. But it's not. It's useless when it comes to information that you don't care about, that you're not going to use. You know, like when I was taking notes in chemistry class, like those notes are useless. You know, like I don't remember a damn thing from that. But notes that I've taken when I've taken like all the endless courses and worked with mentors and all this stuff for my business and everything, like what you saw in the intro of this video, if you watch that, like I've been in the business space for like 5 years now, and I've worked with some of the best people in business when it comes to mentors and stuff, and learn from them. The notes I've taken with that have been astronomical in terms of the help that it's been for me. So if you take notes on stuff that's actually useful with what you're doing, it can be extremely helpful. So I'm telling you, like, what I would be doing, and I've mentioned it in another video, but like I do have a goal of, I want to go pro. I want to get my pro card. Like I want to take it as far as I can, but I've never looked at motocross as my full-time career. Like I've never looked at it as like, this is how I'm going to make money and make a living. Like I want to build a business or businesses, and then as a result of those businesses, it will allow me to race and do what I love, like that sort of thing. That's kind of how I approach it. But basically, when the time comes where I would return and start really training heavily and trying to go take it as far as I can, you best believe I will be studying the shit out of these top racers, watching their vlogs, watching it in slow-mo, taking notes on what they're doing, and really like analyzing and figuring out the differences between the top guys and the normal guys, and what these top guys are doing, like Jet Lawrence, and what really makes him stand out. You know, like one big thing with Jet is how he's so smooth around the track, because he's able to literally like for example, at Southwick, like he's able to find those unique lines where he kind of just hops through and jumps through all of these crazy rough sections and the braking bumps and everything. Whereas all these other guys, they're going through the braking bumps like this, whereas he kind of just hopping through it. And not only is that super fast, but it uses up way less energy, which is partly why Jet is able to push for as hard, or he's able to push as hard as he does for as long as he does, because he doesn't use up as much energy as most of the other guys do. So like when it comes halfway or 3/4 of the way through a 30-minute moto on a super rough track, like the other guys are absolutely exhausted because they've been doing this the whole moto, whereas Jet's just kind of been flowing around the track, just hopping around it. That's a very simplified way of explaining it, but that's just one example. So noticing that, it's like, okay, I'm going to start trying that. Like I'm going to start really paying attention to where I can kind of do that, where I can kind of hop over stuff and do those sorts of things. But the only way to do that is to watch and analyze what they're doing. So anyway, I'll end the video with that, because that's just what I wanted to kind of mention, is like the only way to actually beat the best and do better than the best is by doing more than the rest. Like period. You just need to do more than them. And there's a lot more that can be done aside from like on the bike training or in the gym training, because there really is only so much you can do of that to a certain extent, like I mentioned before, because you need rest and recovery. But during that rest and recovery, there is a lot that you can do, which is watching and analyzing video and the race and all of this stuff that's on YouTube, and joining stuff like my community, even if you don't join mine, but like join somebody else's or whatever. Like there's tons of different resources online now with motocross and stuff. It's great. It's amazing, so use it. But anyway, I'll leave it off with that. But if you enjoyed the video and you want more stuff like this, definitely subscribe to the channel for more videos. And also check out that free community linked in the description below if you're a racer. And aside from that, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.